Show.
All right, everyone, welcome back. Episode 170 of the 580 Show. Me and Mr. Jason Frawley, what's up?
What's up? What's up, everybody?
So, just another week talking strongman.
Hmm.
We got the Arnold UK this weekend. Guess we can kick off
Yeah,
talking about that. One
yeah,
thing
pretty good lineup. Pretty
for
good lineup.
sure, the lineup for the women, obviously Victoria Long's out
Yeah,
after what unfortunately happened. I think it's so weird that the Arnold and the Arnold UK are so close to each other. I
yeah,
I mean, they're it's like the little Arnold circuit. I get
yeah,
it. I think there's some other ones too. Isn't there like Arnold Brazil? Not like it's a
yeah,
big deal, but they have some different throughout the world now.
yeah. I think there's an Australian one because
Yeah,
I think the
Australia
Australian one.
for
I
sure.
think that's where Eddie originally pulled the deadlift record.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
but
but yeah.
yeah, Victoria Long and Aaron Murray are out for the women.
Okay.
And then I saw Ron, I butcher names so much in strongman, but Heinla,
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
Um,
He got the last. There was actually I was listening to a podcast earlier today while I was driving, and there was speculation that Nick Gardione, because he won the Arnold Amateur, was going to sneak into that,
that would be really
which would have
cool.
been crazy. For 2 weeks ago, he wins the Arnold Amateur,
Right.
and 2 weeks later, he would be in an Arnold UK invite. So
Yeah.
that would have been awesome. But
The guy I'm most looking forward to seeing is Lucas Hatton.
oh, without a doubt.
Like
I
that
mean,
is so
especially
cool.
being a US person, right? Like being from
Yeah.
the US, we're
And
definitely interested that way.
and we did the same nationals as him, I believe.
Yeah,
Like,
last year.
yeah, getting to see him come up and everything.
Well,
And it's one thing I thought was cool is he's definitely taking it like as serious as you can because he dropped out of
so
OSG for it
yeah, without a doubt.
when he got this invite. So this is
Mhm.
huge. I mean, you think about like he's at nationals with us, not to chirp us, but us like last year, and
Yeah,
then
22.
yeah,
22.
22,
Yeah, because we're 3 months into 24 now. So,
yeah. So
yeah,
22 nationals, just Strongman Corp nationals in Erie, and
yeah,
then the lineup is him, Mitch Hooper, Luke Stoltman, Thor, Bobby, Oleski Novikov, Maxine. If is Maxine doing it? He's on the name, but
yeah. I
not
saw his
scratched
name
off.
on there. I thought he got hurt at the US Arnold, but
Yeah, but his name, the other people are dropped out or are listed as dropped out. He's not.
okay,
Maybe we're
okay.
wrong.
Maybe it was a tweak. I don't know.
Yeah, Gavin Bilton is
Hmm.
on there. So it's like that is just really, really cool to see like him competing against that.
I
That
would, I can see him hanging too. Like he's not showing up. He's not
no,
going to be a slouch. I mean, he's going to be competitive
no, he
for
seems like
sure.
he's really well rounded, man, to be honest. So yeah, good luck to him. Good luck to everyone, obviously. But the one gripe I have is the events are so similar to Arnold, Ohio. Did you notice that?
I don't. I know the one is a yoke to a circus dumbbell, and I know the other one is what are they calling it? A monster deadlift, which is like a deadlift from the floor.
Yeah, it's deadlift for reps.
Okay.
It's a raw power bar,
Okay.
771 for the men.
Okay. And it's just pull it for reps.
Yeah, 500
Okay.
for women.
What are
Weight
the other
weight
events?
weight over bar, which I like.
Okay.
Um, yeah, it's
Mm.
a 56-pound bag for men and 28 bag for women, and it's
Okay.
max height.
Hmm.
So I actually really like that event. Um, there is the power medley on and it's a yoke to a dumbbell.
Yeah.
So that was a 1,000-pound yoke
Hmm.
for men,
Yeah.
and then 242 dumbbell, 264, and 286 dumbbells.
Oh, so it's like a ladder after the dumbbell.
Yeah, that or they pick and it's like points, but I don't know. It just says power medley.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, it's a dumbbell series. It's a dumbbell
Okay.
series.
That's cool. That's a
Um,
little different.
yeah. So it in order, it opens up with log press. I guess maybe I looked at it too quickly, and it is pretty different actually. Um, well, yeah, I definitely jumped the gun because when I looked at it earlier, I must have just looked real quick, but it opens with a log press for reps, and it's a heavy and light option.
Okay.
Um, and then timber carry. So
Okay.
it's actually a farmer's carry, not a frame. So it's a little
Oh,
bit of a mix of the um what are they called? The event. I hate them so much. I just took them out of my memory. Denny Stones and the
yeah.
frame from the Arnold because it's farmers, but it's a max distance. So 15-meter course and you can drop only at the turn
Okay.
lines. And it's just as
Okay.
far as you can get in 60 seconds. So it's men are doing 400 a hand. Women
Oh,
are doing 260 a hand. That's
wow.
really cool.
Yeah.
So that's how it opens on Friday. And then
Okay.
Saturday it goes power medley, the yoke into the dumbbells, um, weight over bar, and then it ends with the deadlift for reps.
Okay.
So
Okay.
pretty cool show actually. I actually think they took out the ones I didn't like from the Arnold, Ohio and replaced them with better events.
And I always like just a deadlift from the floor,
Yeah,
just pulling it.
it's
If that's
classic.
what it is, I
It
assume that's what
says
it is.
power
But
bar from the floor.
yeah, so I would
Yeah.
guess it's probably just a deadlift, like standard height deadlift, pulling it for reps,
Which I
which
love
I appreciate that.
for sure.
I like the spectacle stuff and the presentation, but I also just like very simple, just pull a deadlift bar, pull it for as many as you can.
That's an event that a
So,
lot of people like. You being in the super heavyweight class, that's an event that is like super relatable because like strongman
yeah,
is obviously so unstandardized. It's like,
yes.
oh, they're pressing a dumbbell, but it's like a round dumbbell, and we have, so all that different stuff. This is like, dude, it's a rogue power bar for reps.
Hmm.
Like, how would I do on, you know what I mean? That's
Right,
so that's
right.
those are events I like to watch too because it's like relatable.
Well, yeah, because I mean, I pulled 770. So,
Right.
like, I did that one time, and it's like, okay, like these guys
Yeah.
are probably going to ragdoll
Yeah. Right. It's
it.
crazy.
So, yeah.
The one other thing I will say that I found like super interesting because Rogue did such a good job with the Arnold, Ohio, and I don't
Mhm.
know if it would be Rogue streaming this one too, but
I was wondering that. Yeah.
the things that I'm hearing is that it's going to be streamed, but it's
Yes.
going to be just a raw stream. So it's going to be no commentator and just like a camera,
Okay.
which I hope that's not true. That seems very strange. This
I
will
mean, I
be
registered for the live stream. I didn't watch any of it today on Friday.
yeah.
But man, I can't imagine it's just going to be a raw stream. Maybe. I don't know. But
Yeah. Well, this it'll be over by the time this comes out, so we'll hopefully. I feel like it'd be super easy to just grab someone from the UK that's in strongman and commentate it.
well, I think about the amateur Arnold for Columbus.
Yeah.
And the live
They
stream didn't, if I remember right, they didn't have somebody directly commentating on
no,
the live stream, but you could hear the people talking.
and that would be fine. Like
Yeah,
that would
and
be
I think
cool.
if it's like that, I had no problem with that. I mean, you could understand what was going on. You could hear the announcers. So if that's the case, that's cool. You
Yeah,
can go
for
with that.
sure. That's a good point. Because you
Yeah,
could actually, when you were listening to the one event that was streamed for Arnold Amateur, you
yeah,
could hear the guy talking very well.
right.
And like
And
it
if
was
that's
just
the case,
basically
that's
the
cool.
MC. So it was like you were there basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's cool. I'll be curious to see how it all shakes out. It's yeah, it'll be over by the time you're hearing this, so
Right.
congrats to whoever won. Mitch Hooper's gonna win. So
Probably.
yeah. That would
Unless
be
he screws
crazy if he
something
doesn't.
up. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be crazy if he doesn't. But yeah, let us know what you end up thinking of the Arnold UK. In amateur strongman, USS, we were talking a little bit earlier about it, but USS Nationals is coming up, and
Seems
you
like
made a
the
really good
season's
point.
starting to swing
Yeah.
for preps. I'm seeing people posting about it now.
Yeah,
So
you made a good point. It's like that's almost USS Nationals is always in like the beginning of June, it seems. And
yeah,
that kind of seems to kick off like the competitive season for amateurs. So it's
right,
like people prep for USS Nationals, and then it's like they can do Strongman Corp regionals, they can
right.
do obviously OSGs at the end of the year. But
Strongman Corp Nationals, right?
yeah, it rules. It just kind of all rules like USS Nationals. Everyone's kind of doing their shows for their certain qualifiers. OSG online qualifiers start. You got PSL in the mix now, which is so yeah,
There
it's kind
are
of
other
that
shows at other
landmark.
times of the year, right? Like it's not it's not to say that the other shows don't matter, but it's just kind of like, okay, now this is like the opening of the beginning of the year, right? Like all the shows you got to qualify to get to.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, and where's Strongman Corp Nationals at again this year? Greenville?
Greenville, South Carolina.
Okay, Greenville, South
Yeah.
Carolina. So yeah, USS Nationals. I love the events.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
the one thing that sucks is that it's cool for USS they sold out of nationals, but I feel
Mhm.
bad for people that waited till March or April to do their qualifying show. Because
Yeah.
no offense to USS Nationals, but it's and anyone that qualifies, but it's easier to qualify, especially
Hmm.
in certain classes. Like you may have a super heavyweight class that's stacked with 10
Yeah.
guys, and
Yeah.
it's not easy. But podium, no matter what, qualifies.
Right.
Um, and winner of novice classes qualifies.
Right.
So, you may have people that just they had a lot of personal life stuff going on. And it's like, oh, I'll just wait till this show that's by my house in the beginning of April
Yeah.
to qualify because no offense, I'm not super worried about it. And then I'll go to Denver. That's my big goal,
Right.
and then it sells out. Hey, that's the cost of doing business, and that's cool for USS selling out. But
Yeah.
that from the
I mean, if it's true that the invite doesn't move to next year, I kind of have a problem with that. Right?
yeah,
Like that doesn't make sense. You should be able to move it to 25
I also
at the
think they
very
should.
least.
I also definitely think they should reimburse people that are meet directors and like, hey, I was doing this to have a show for 2024 nationals, and I publicized that, and
Yeah.
people signed up. Like, I think that's only right. And
Yeah.
from what I'm hearing from people that I know it's true, they're not refunding that.
Yeah.
So I think
I
that's
think
kind
that's
of
wrong.
I think that's really crappy. If you know the answer to that, because I don't know,
Right.
if you're listening, I think for sure invites should go to 2025.
Right. That's the easiest thing to do.
But that would
So,
sure as hell suck if like we say like Nationals was in like Pittsburgh
yeah.
this year and we were
Yeah.
waiting till April to qualify. Like perfect example, I'm doing a show April 13th. It's a
Right.
USS show. Say
Hmm.
Nationals in Pittsburgh this year. I'm like, oh, I'm just waiting until this local show by our house comes and I'll qualify and then do Nationals. And then they're like, oh, it's sold out and it doesn't even go to next year. That would really suck.
For
So,
sure.
but
For
yeah,
sure.
that stinks, but I love the events. I will say,
Yeah.
cool. They do. I think that group. It seems like they're gonna do a really good job with nationals this year. So
Yep. Yep.
props to
I mean,
them.
selling it out is a good sign for sure.
For sure. I think with USS Nationals being the easier one to qualify for, and like I said, that is no offense, and I'm not saying that as a
Statistically speaking, it is easier to qualify for.
yeah. It just.
It's
I
not a
mean,
jab. We're not saying it's not competitive. It's
and it's
like
also
there's
like
three.
right. It's also remember, it comes from I compete in the lightweight class. Sometimes you go to a USS show and you only have three people in your class.
Right.
So you show up and you just zero all five events, you still qualify for nationals.
Right.
But and that's fine. That's the way they're doing it. That's great. They want to have a nationals that's more volume, and that's very cool. I think that's awesome. Part of me thinks having more people at nationals makes it cooler. So, I see both sides of
Hmm.
the argument. I see it having a smaller nationals where there's 100, 200 people, and then I see a nationals where there's 600 people. I
Yep.
get why both those are cool.
Hmm.
But I do think like if USS Nationals can continue to have the 600, 700, why not make it a 2 day or
Sure.
make it an AM and PM and then be able to hold 1,000 or 1,200? You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Multiple days wouldn't be a bad idea.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know. I don't know if you heard us talk about last week, but Lynn's doing OSG a little different this year with events,
Yeah.
which I love.
Yeah.
I think that's great that
So
you took
it's going to
that.
be arranged by like times and dates for classes or something like that.
Yeah, I can actually tell you right now
I mean,
because
that's a good idea.
it's a great idea. I actually put that in my athlete feedback.
Yeah.
So like for example, like day one, um, like I would just say my class. It says 80 kg, event one at 12:45, event two at 1:30.
Okay. So
I
it's
do
just boom, boom, you're done.
two events in 2 hours and I'm done. That
Yeah.
is great.
Well, and the
Versus
thing is too, like if you want to be a spectator for the other classes, you can, right? There's
yeah,
nothing stopping you from doing
it
that.
doesn't take away anything. It
Exactly.
just adds
Exactly.
to like for you, for example, man, like last year, like if you would qualify, Lynn made fun of you that you can't qualify when
I
he was
know he
on here,
did.
but
He jabbed me.
like the opening ceremony is at 9:30 a.m.
Yeah.
Okay. And open men don't go until 5:15 p.m. So
Okay.
instead of being there and being on eggshells and being like, oh, when do I go? Whatever. Especially first timers, I'm sure there's a lot
Yeah.
more nerves.
Yep.
That's that's 8 hours before you even go. So you can just go back to the hotel room, the
Hang
hotels,
out,
hang out,
rest, eat.
eat, you know. It's a
Yep.
lot better for the athletes. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that was just something I was thinking about USS Nationals. Maybe they do, hey, all women classes, novice and or not novice and teens go day one, and then day two is this
Sure.
other group. So because I would if I did national, I do like that they do nationals 5 events all in one day. Like it's just a
Yeah.
show. I
Yeah.
do part of me does like that,
Hmm.
but maybe instead of doing it 2 events and 3 events, just this group you go on Friday, this group you go on Saturday.
Sure.
That's what powerlifting does because you forget how much bigger powerlifting is
Well,
than,
yeah. I mean, USAPL Nationals, Open Nationals is huge.
dude,
I mean, there's days of competing. So
well, dude, like it's so humbling how much bigger powerlifting is than strongman.
yeah,
And I don't think strongman competitors truly realize, like,
yeah.
yeah, like I'll use this as an example. Teen nationals for powerlifting is in a couple weeks.
Hmm.
I have a lifter, Dom, going. If you listen to Paul, you might have heard us talk about him. He's a really strong kid from our gym. He's in high school, going to teen nationals for USAPL. They have over 800 lifters in
Yeah,
teen nationals.
yeah,
And we're talking about our biggest nationals in America not being able to accommodate more than 600 people
yeah,
for strongman. That's not teen nationals, that's open.
yeah,
800 signups.
yeah. And it makes sense. I mean, the barrier to entry is a lot easier in
Oh, for
powerlifting.
sure.
You need a barbell, a singlet, a belt, and weights. like that's all you
Yeah.
need. So it make the reasoning is sound, but it's just it's crazy the scale, the
Oh,
difference in the scale of those two sports. There's so
eight
many more
eight
competitors.
hundred for teens. That
Yeah,
is so cool that that many kids are like into
that's
lifting.
also true. Yeah,
Like that is really, really cool.
yeah.
So yeah, I feel bad for him. He doesn't weigh until 4 p.m. the day he lifts.
Oh, because it's 2 hour.
2 hour weigh-ins and his sessions
Yeah.
don't till 6 p.m.
Well, that's part of the game.
That is
That's
part
part
of
of
the
the
game.
USAPL game. So,
Yeah, yeah.
um, and they do need to hold that standard, right? Like they're
Oh,
not
for
going to be like,
sure.
oh, you can weigh in this morning. No, like it's a 2 hour
No,
weigh in.
no, for sure.
So
Yeah.
that's tough.
But anyway, yeah, if you're prepping for USS Nationals, let us know. I'm
Mhm.
excited to see how that show ends up being. Other show I'm excited to watch is Olympic City Pro Am, mainly because you, Gus, and Kacharski are doing it.
Let's
But
go.
we
Today's
were
Friday.
talking, you haven't even really started thinking about bridge because I wanted to talk about bridge a little
No,
bit, but that's good you're not
no.
thinking about it because you're dialed in for you're not looking past this show.
Yeah, I got one more day tomorrow. It's going to be a not a crazy event day, but getting some final touches on some pieces of equipment. We're leaving Wednesday evening, so I think we land in Denver around like 8 or something like that, 8
Yeah.
Denver time. So
Yeah, PM.
then we're driving down to Colorado Springs, and we'll get there later on
Yeah.
Wednesday night, and then um, I don't know what we're gonna do when we get there. So we haven't got that far, but
Yeah.
gotta
Well,
get packed
Olympic
up
City,
this weekend.
yeah. You guys, we had on the people running the Olympic City Pro
Yeah.
Am. If you're new or just didn't listen to that episode, Frawley, Gus, and Kacharski, all from our gym, are two of the guys are part time at our gym, but they're going to do it, and it's a first annual Pro Am out in
Hmm.
Colorado.
Hmm.
So definitely check out the Iron Podium on that. And it is, I actually believe I haven't purchased it yet, but I believe you can purchase the ADL stream already early.
I think the link is up. I think it's posted where it's gonna be.
So
Obviously, it's not running, but yeah,
yeah. So
pretty sure
actually
it's on there.
it's in 6 days from when this airs, so when people are listening. But
Yeah.
definitely buy the ADL stream. I'm really excited to see how it is. And
Yeah.
there is a stacked competitor list. Even
Yeah.
in the amateur side, I saw a lot of familiar names.
Mhm.
But the big thing I'm excited for is the pro am. Like I said,
Yeah.
obviously for you. But
Right.
this is the farthest you've ever traveled for a show by
Oh,
far.
without a doubt, I've never flown. Even when I powerlifted, when I was competing in powerlifting, I never flew. I always drove. This is the first time I'll be competing after flying. So navigating that's a little bit different. Just how to get your stuff there and make sure you have everything and what you can and can't travel with, etc. So that's been interesting. But if I want to continue to do shows to this level, I kind of have to get used to that, right? So
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's cool. I mean, I'm excited. It's definitely the biggest, the heaviest show I've ever done, without a doubt, and rightfully so. It's been a brutal prep.
Yeah,
Gus
and
and
you
Charsky, we all talk about it. And we're like, man, this prep's rough, but it's just the nature of the beast.
the
So,
thing I really love about like when I look at the page for it for this pro am, and like I'm far from perfect picking events, but like for a pro am, they're like the most simple blue blood test your strength strongman events I've ever seen for a show.
hmm
You have a log ladder,
hmm
then you and for the heavyweights, the final log's 400. So
400 pounds, right?
um axle bar, 9
hmm
inch, just reps. Head
No,
to head.
it's a
Oh, it's
max.
I mean a max. Sorry.
Yeah, it's a max. Yeah.
Yeah. Head to head yoke,
Yep.
head to head farmers carry, and a stone series.
Like it doesn't. It actually reminds me a lot of the USS Nationals events.
For sure, for sure.
So
And the
yeah,
stone series is cool because he talked about it like the peak stone,
yeah. Pikes
like
Peak.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
So that's cool. And you look at this, you look at your guys' class. Obviously, I mentioned you three that I know, but just a lot of bigger names on there. Like just go
Yeah.
on the Iron Podium. I'm not gonna say every name, but go check it out. Even the 105s have a lot of big names
Yeah.
for the pro side. And then there's four women competing as well for the
hmm
pros. So yeah, that'll be a really fun show to watch. How do you feel with prep pretty much wrapped
Pretty
up?
good. Pretty good. So I think I'm just being completely honest with myself. I'm not going to win the show. Like
Yeah,
I'm not showing up to be on the podium. That's not my goal. My goal is to get exposure to heavier weights, to train with or to compete with people who are at a pretty high level, and really push myself through a prep. And so when it comes to the prep side, I mean, I think I've PR'd in every single event multiple times throughout this prep. So like even if I go and I don't perform well, that's obviously not the goal. I'm gonna go, I'm gonna give it my best, I'm gonna perform to the level that I'm capable of. That's my goal. But even if I go and I have a bad day, I mean I've already won because my prep went so well and I made so much progress that I otherwise wouldn't have. So
right,
that was the intent when I signed up in like, I don't know, maybe October. It was like, okay, I think if I do this, it's going to really push me to a higher level, and that was what I was trying to achieve. So
that's
I'm
great.
really happy with the progress I made.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
one thing I will say, and I can't remember or not if we talked about it on the pod or not, but that's one thing I wish I would have done a little bit more when I first started struggling was just say screw it and compete a little bit more. And I think it was you that told me, but it's like a really good point is doing new events and events that the weight kind of intimidates you
Yeah.
almost forces you to get better. Like your big kryptonite is grip
Great.
with
Yep.
farmers, and these
hmm
have heavy ass farmers.
Yep.
And like you said, I've watched it at the gym, like how much your farmers have improved
Exactly.
just by forcing yourself to do them.
Right.
So
Right.
that's a piece of advice I have for people is like, don't be I mean, obviously, like if your max log's 200 pounds and it's 300 for reps and it's in 8 weeks, like you're not going to hit 300 log.
Right.
But like picking those weights, it's like, man, I'm already on that fringe. That's a really heavy weight. I've never done that. Like, I think that can be a really great thing if
Exactly.
you make it a
I would
positive.
say the fringe, like if you're on the edge where it's like, well, I think I could do that. I don't know if I could do that. I would say do it. And I actually kind of wish I would have done it sooner. I wish I would have
Oh,
exposed
I
myself to
agree.
heavier weights sooner. And like you said, if you're way out of your league, it's not going to benefit you, right? But
Right.
if you're teetering on that edge, it's going to expose you. And I think at the beginning of prep, like 1,000 pound yoke sounded outrageous to me. I mean, it just sounded like there's no way I'm going to be able to do this. And I've done it 3 times now. So
That's
it
awesome.
now I haven't done it quickly by any means. I mean, I'm not Marcus Crowder, but
Right.
but just doing it, and now I have the confidence of it, and it's also helping my competitive weights at a lower level too, right?
Right.
So,
Yeah, no, it's cool to do that stuff. It's like I remember the first nationals I ever qualified for, they had a super heavy log,
yeah,
heavy for me. And I remember getting like super discouraged. I'm like, I'll never hit that.
yeah,
And then now I just hit it. So it's like
yeah.
it's cool to see stuff like that happen. And that's why I think sign up
It's
for
like a
shows.
goldfish. When you grow to the environment you give it, right? Like
Yeah,
if
right.
you
And
stay in a bowl that's this big,
it was
yeah,
also like with powerlifting, I was always in the mindset of like, well, I'm not really gonna do more than two comps a year because it's just squat, bench, deadlift, and it's like I can train that in the gym and get stronger at it. With strongman, you have 50 plus events at your disposal, and
Yep.
it's like, oh, this show has freaking figgle fingers. Like
Yeah.
when else am I gonna get, you know what I mean? So I do
Well,
think it's different. And I think my
so
mindset, yeah,
on that point too, if you haven't done the event for a competitive show, if you haven't done the event for a competitive show, you're not prepping for it. Therefore, you're not pushing that event. So if it shows up at a nationals, at an OSG, at an OSG qualifier, etc., you've never trained for it. So you have that initial learning curve of that event that's now going to be affected when you're trying to compete against guys who have done it for 10 preps.
right.
Right? Like
Right.
that makes a big difference.
Yeah. That's the big thing with strongman is you have to force specificity versus a sport like powerlifting and strength sports. And I always say powerlifting because it's the most comparable to strongman. Like it's
Right.
two strength sports that people do the most.
Right.
But is like you have to force specificity because you may never it's everything's different, you know?
Right. Right.
Very rarely do you do a show that has the same five events,
Right. You
you
almost
know?
never will.
Yeah. But that's cool, man.
Yep.
Obviously, we'll all be watching. We'll have it up at the gym on the TV and stuff too, so that'll be
For
cool.
sure.
Wait, it's actually you guys lift at night,
It's in the afternoon. Yep.
which
We
I like
start
because
at
I can get home and watch on my TV actually.
we start at 1:30 or 2 Denver time. That's what's that mountain time. So
We
it's
start
two
to
for
Denver time.
yeah, so for Eastern time zone, it's 2 hours behind.
Oh, it's two. I thought it was three.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
2.
nice. So it'll start at 4 Eastern. The
Yes, that
Olympics will
sounds
start.
right.
That's awesome. If you're a strongman fan, that's perfect time. Get done with
Yep.
strongman Saturday. Come watch. I'll be curious the week after you compete. I'll be curious to hear what your thoughts were traveling,
Yeah.
changing time zones, stuff
Yeah,
like
all
that.
that stuff's
So,
gonna be different for sure. So
yeah. Well, my plan was for the episode this week too to talk about bridge and some FAQs. But what we'll do is we'll let you get through Olympic City Pro Am.
hmm
I think Dante's gonna decide if he's doing bridge or not too. So I'll let you guys. We'll do an episode maybe next week or
yeah,
the
I was
week
gonna say
after. We'll
probably the week after.
plan 2 episodes from now. I'll probably plan for a guest next week because you'll be out.
I'll be
But
traveling.
we'll have a guest on next week, and then the following week, if you're doing bridge, listen to this episode because we'll pretty much do. I'll post a bridge Q&A, but then I'll also just kind of have you and Dante act as like competitors and just
hmm
rattle off questions as a promoter.
That's a good idea.
And then people can, because as we get closer and closer, anyone that's ran a meet, a competition knows that you just start to get more and more questions. So it helps sharpen me, and then maybe people listen, and then their question gets answered.
Yep.
So, because I had some
Yep.
good questions this week. Like someone was like, "Is my class using a 10 or 12-inch log?" And I said 10. And it was a women's class. And then I went and looked because we are running a regional. Every Arnold and nationals that these classes would do, they're using a 12-inch. So I switched them to a 12-inch log because it makes
hmm
sense to me.
Oh, okay.
Because
Okay.
regionals is a qualifier for the Arnold and
Yeah,
nationals.
so
So
it should
why would they not
replicate.
use the same size equipment that they're going to be using at the next level?
It makes
So
total sense.
great question. And then I answered 10-inch and then I was driving. I'm like, wait, that doesn't make sense. Let's switch them to a Pitbull 12-inch lock.
Sure.
Yeah. No, that's cool, man. We're gonna have a new flavor of horsepower coming out. We'll
Are
hold
we
off on
sharing it yet?
we'll hold off on the flavor. We'll hold
I
off.
can't wait.
But yeah, you know the flavor. I'm really excited for this one.
Yep.
So all the people at the gym are going to be getting the tests probably in the next week or two, the samples coming
One of
in.
my favorite flavors. So
So yeah, me too. So uh be excited. Hopefully the first version is just amazing and we can just get it rolling, but
yeah,
could take
hopefully.
freaking
It
50
never
tries.
seems to go that way though.
No, the only one that ever has is mixed berry.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
that one was good once we
yeah.
got it. So
But no, we're not gonna release it till the pace is right.
yeah,
Well, man, that's good. Obviously, send Frawley messages next week, wishing him good luck, safe travels, everything like that. Let us know what type of guests you want to have on, what shows are coming up. Definitely have something with the USS Nationals. I think we should.
for sure.
The promoters, I think, will come on, and then
I
we'll
think
be
it'd
able
be
to
a
do
good
like a
idea.
little Q&A. So
Yep.
Yeah, anything else? Let us know what we're missing. We talk about a lot about amateur strongman, specifically in the US. So most of you guys are involved in it. So let us know what we want to talk
It would
about.
also be cool if people reached out and like if they thought that there would be a show out there that was worth highlighting that we may
For
not know
sure.
about. Like that would be cool that, maybe have them on as a guest and talk about it because that gets exposure to shows that people put a lot of effort into that they probably deserve to have more exposure because they're doing a good job.
For sure,
We
man.
always talk about the bad stuff, so let's talk about the good stuff too.
Right. 100%. That's a great point. Like I probably, to be honest, wouldn't know about the Olympic City Pro-Am if you guys weren't doing it. I mean, I would know
Exactly.
about it, but I wouldn't have like highlighted, seen these cool things. So
Yep.
great point, man. If you're out there in North Dakota and you're like, dude, we do this like 40-person show every year and it's sick and we do this,
Tell
like,
us.
yeah, let's go.
Yep.
So great point. Let us know. And we will talk to you guys next week. Thanks.
Later.